Hello, this is Blaster Toad here. You'll notice that there's no face cam as this is another tutorial video. So I need the full view so that everything can be seen. So I've just started a fresh, brand new blank project. And what we're going to be looking at is an interesting idea or thought here from Brylos. I think is his name. Okay, so adding force to an object where the player is aiming. Okay, guys, brand new. Brylos is brand new. The Unreal Engine wants to make it so that his player can add force to a ball wherever his body is facing and whenever he clicks. Okay, so just force to ball. Okay, basics of what he's doing. Curious about some details. Does it need to be a blueprint? Does it need to be a physics object? I'm gonna suggest a physics object, but we're gonna get to that in a moment. Control the amount of force. Actually, we're gonna do a blueprint. Blueprint which contains a physics object, I guess, because then we can have some more control over it and add some interesting things later. Control the amount of force it gives the object, whether force backward, blah 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 blah. Yes, so we'll be able to control the force from well, not so much control the force, but direct the force differently where you're aiming at on the ball, I guess. And yeah, and then more complex question, general idea of how could this system be made multiplayer. So, I have started a new project. I call it Gunball because that is how I am imagining this system. So, we are going to content and add a new folder. And we're going to have blueprints. And that's it, because we aren't going to do anything fancier than that. We are going to go to Edit, and we are going to go to Project Settings, and get our input set up. So right over here we have input. And do axes mapping. I really like working with axes instead of action buttons. We want 4 back, so forwards and backwards. That is my short for it. And we're going to use good old WASD. So W and S are my forwards and backwards. Make sure we give that a scale of -1. Then we want to add our side to side. So we want side to side. Which I also regularly call horse strafing or horizontal strafing. But we're going to do D because right is our positive and A as left is our negative value. I always like to have things in order there. Again, -1. And then he wants to do things when we click on it. So we are going to go to plus an action map. And we are going to do action. Now we're going to do click. Click action. Best of both worlds. There we go. And we want a mouse event and mouse left button. There we go. Okay, so that's our action. We're going to be able to move forward, backward, side to side, and mouse clicks. Okay, perfect. So, we're going to go into blueprints. We are going to make ourselves a new character. Woo! Player. This is our player. Okay, as with whenever I do 3D modeling, I'm going to say everything is a square, and we're going to stick with that. Everything's a square. And just click out here, and then we're going to scale it a little bit to be inside that capsule component. And there is our freaking thing. Okay. So there is our character. We are also going to add a camera now, because we need that. Just a regular camera, and we are going to put the camera in a first-person view. Right like that, sure, at his head. Okay. Back a little, I think that will be good. Okay. So, now we're going to go to our event graph. We're going to get rid of everything, and we're going to start setting up our action maps. We want 4 back. We want side to side. We also want mouse X and mouse Y. Okay. So we are going to, for our 4 back, we are going to add movement input, straighten up that pin. On the scale of our axes, we're going to apply it to ourselves, and in the world direction, we are going to get actor forward vector. There we go. Straighten up that connection. There we go. So forward and backward, we'll get actor forward vector. We're going to add movement in the scale of our axes. So +1, -1s, forwards and backwards. We are going to do the exact same thing for our side to side, but we are going to get right vector for an actor. So get right actor vector. Copy that, paste that. Again, straighten up our nodes to make everything pretty shiny. Drop you there and in and straighten. Not jump to, straighten. And an axis value. Okay. Give those some space to move. Okay, X. Event X. X is side to side, or is X... we're going to say it's side to side for now, and I might have to fix it. So we are going to add yaw input. And just like that. Okay. And then here we are going to add local rotation to our camera. And we are going to, with these axes, make rotator, and that is going to be doing pitch. We want that to go up and down. So we're gonna break away that roll input. Just make that go up and down. Straighten a connection. Get our camera reference over here. There we are. So that should be our movement. Okay. So we are going to take our character. Come on. Drop character. Boom. And we are going to go over here, possess, and we're going to tell it to auto-possess my player. And we're going to test out, see if it works. So I can look around, I can look up, down. Oh, yes, it is working. For some reason I thought I wasn't seeing anything, but I'm actually looking inside the character. So we are going to then move this camera forward so that when we look down, we are actually seeing down the face of the character. We're going to set that to new window. There we go. Now we can see ourselves. And we can move around, okay? Same thing if you want to add jumps and all that good stuff. So there we go. So we've got movement. Woo! Movement in 9 minutes. There you are. Okay, that's how easy it is to make a game. So we are going to, select all that, hit C, and those are going to be our movement events. Name them up nicely like that, okay? This add movement input and add rotation or add yaw will be replicated if we set our actor to be replicated or our character to be replicated. The looking events for the camera will be set set locally. Okay. So, and there we go. Next, we need to do our fire. So we need our click action. click action. There we go. So when we press the key, we're going to want to get whatever's in front of us. So we are going to do a line trace, and we're going to do it by channel. We're actually going to now make a custom channel, okay? Go back to edit, project settings, and we are going to go over to collisions, trace channels, add a new channel, and our new channel is going to be our ball. And it is set to everything ignores it. There we go. Okay, and that way things don't automatically get set with ball. Otherwise, everything's going to think it's a ball, but we just want to manually set the ball to be what's a ball. Okay. We are going to then... Actually, here's a thing. And this I found out from my own project. When you click a action event, that happens locally. That does not happen on the server. Okay? So, when we press it, we want to get camera. We're just going to pull our camera here. Boom, get camera. And get forward vector. And we are going to do a custom event. Custom event. And we are going to do force ball, because that's what he wants to do, is add force to the ball. What is your name again there, buddy? Brylos. Brylos. We're going to add force to your balls. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to force balls. We need to add a vector here. So selecting our custom event, adding a new input, adding a vector input, and having that look direction. Okay. So the camera, since it's attached to the actor, will move with the actor, but the look direction is going to be local. So when we're sending that to tell it to do something on the server, we need to send what area where we're currently looking. Okay, so now we're going to run the force ball action. And we are going to pass through the force ball a reference to our forward direction. I'm going to straighten that up. We are going to grab our camera reference, move it something like... we're going to move that all out here. We're going to straighten that up again. Keep things all nice and tidy so it's easy to read and work with. Okay, now with our force ball getting our look direction, now we are going to do that line trace by channel. Okay. We are going to have a reference to our camera. And I find whenever I'm doing a custom event, or I'm doing a function, or a macro, or anything that's separate and not flowing through the same line, I like to get different references instead of saying, oh hey, I've already got a camera reference here, let's do that. Just to keep them clean and modular and all by themselves, let's put a new reference there. We're going to get camera, and we are going to get world position, or get world location. And there we go. Straighten connection to that world location. And that world location is going to be the start of our trace. Okay. Then we are going to get that forward vector that we've passed in. We are going to multiply that forward vector by a float. And this is how far in front of you you want to be able to see something or add force to it. So we are going to do 500 centimeters. Sure, 5 meters in front of us we can add force. And just straighten this up. Double click to do a redirect node. Straighten up that redirect mode. Move all this over just a smidgen. Perfect. The trace we're going to run on is ball. So we're only going to hit things with the ball channel. Okay. And we are now going to split our structure pin. Okay, so just right click and split our hit pin. Okay. So we are going to get that hit actor. So this way we are going to start from the camera and end 500 or 5 meters away from where we're currently looking. The direction we're currently looking from. Okay. And we are going to then get the hit actor from that. And we are now going to add force. Add radial force. No, we just want to add force. Primitive component. Where is our add force to a... we will launch, I guess. Launch character. Nope. Okay, this is where we need to find out what exactly we need to do as a node. So we are going to look at force. Fire impulse. Fire a single impulse. Remove object. Add force to a primitive component. Add force at location. Blah blah. Radial force. Force, force, force. Force net update. Blah blah blah. Force claw. A bunch of gets that we can do. Force ball. Okay, so where are we wanting to actually grab something? This I should have looked up before I started doing this video. Character movement adds force. So let's add impulse. Because I believe we can add impulse to that's character movement. Add impulse to a so we want to do an actor. Simple move to actor. So actor force. How do we add force to an actor? Unreal Engine. Add force to actor. A quick Google search. How do I add force to an actor? Good. Answer Hub. Hopefully somebody has answered this question so that we can continue on. And to get the mesh component of the actor. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to, on our hit actor, get root. Perfect. Get the root component of our actor. Okay, and with that root component, we are now going to add force. Scene component. Arg. Get hit component. That will work because we'll only have a single. So the hit component of our ball return channel, we are going to add force. And we are going to add force in the hit direction. So hit normal, out hit normal, impact point, hit location. Or do we add force from which way we're looking? We're going to add force from which way we're looking. We're just going to continue off this node. And we are going to do another multiply by a float. Not multiply float by float, multiply vector by float. So we are going to turn back on our context sensitive. Multiply. Hit this to get in there. Multiply vector by a float. Boom, and we are going to multiply that by 100. See how much force that gets us. And add change. If true, force is taken as a change in acceleration instead of physical force. No, we do not want that. Okay. So now with this, we would want this to run on the server. Okay. Because if it's running on the server, then all this code here is running on the server. And what that means for us is that everybody will be able to do things. Yay, things and stuff, and people can do them. Straighten connection to all connected pins. Perfect. Yeah, sure, that should do it. Okay, so we are going to go force ball. When I changed it to run on server, there were some issues, apparently, with that saved. Now that I just reset it, everything is good. So this will be click event and pass look direction. Okay. Click event and pass look direction. And then add force to ball on server. Because that is only going to happen on the server so that weird things are not happening on the different worlds or different machines. Okay, so now let's add our ball. So we're going to make a new blueprint class. We are just going to make that an actor because it doesn't need any special properties. We are going to name it ball. Okay, we're going to come into ball. We are going to add a component. We are going to add a cube. I know, cubes are not typically the regular ball shape, but when we add force to it, I do not want it just rolling off the side of the map. We want to just push it and nudge it. And then over here in these properties, we are going to look for replicate for the whole thing, and we want this to be always relevant and replicate movement. And yes to replicates. Okay, so this will set up our multiplayer replication. Okay, now we should be able to drop our ball out here. Oh, let's go back into our ball and look at our cube and physics. We do want it to simulate physics. And then in collision, we want it to do a... Where is my collision stuff? Custom collision. And we want to turn ball on, okay? So under collision presets, we want to go to custom, and we want to enable the ball channel. So this way that line trace we do will actually see it. Now we got that, and if we click, okay, we are getting some errors. Runtime error assigned, blah blah blah, something something, add force. Okay. Call function. Trying to read property, break hit results, component, from function, description. Okay. So here is what we need to do. We need to get our player back. Okay. So in this, we are going to draw for duration the hit lines from that. So let's see what our hit lines are. Okay. See, we are drawing hits now all over that thing. From our camera down to it. Okay. So it is hitting. And it is hitting a ball type thing. Should be able to get our hit component and add force to it. Get component by class. And we'll do a primitive component. Let's try this instead. So from our hit actor, we will get components by class and a primitive. So we're going to break that previous link. And just to make sure that this is firing, we are going to print a string and make it say hello. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Yay. We are still seeing errors. Blueprint. Access none. Trying to read property. Get component by class. Execute some player add force. Okay. So, let's see what happens if we ramp that up to 10,000. Are we actually going to get anything? Okay, let's try to just have this as a local event. And we are going to make sure our thing is valid first. So we're going to do a is valid object type. And we are still getting errors. Blueprint none. Reading. Break hit results. Hit actor. Because we should be seeing that. So why is add force not working for us? That should be working for us. Okay. How about when we do it, we are just going to do a 1000 in the z-axis. See if we can't make it jump. We are hitting, and things are valid, and things are supposed to be working. Why are you not working? So, this is the fun part here. Is now figuring out why the hell that is not working. We are adding force to a primitive component. We are getting the primitive component here. Okay. We should be able to just hit component there and do that, and that should remove our errors. See, now we've got no errors because we're checking if it's valid before doing anything. Like, it's going through, it's valid, it is running this. Let's do an acceleration change. Ah, our force is not high enough. Okay. So, what we'll do now is we'll go back to our ball, and we will make the ball a ball. Woo! Let's do that. What an exciting change of events. And again, we want to go to collision presets. We want to make that a custom. Make it a ball there. Then we want to make sure that physics are on, simulating physics. Okay. And then for the ball, we want it to replicate. So all those replications have stayed. Okay. So now we want to add force in the direction that we are looking from. And we want to multiply that direction by a ridiculous number. 1,000,000. Okay, this should let us now push this ball around. Maybe a tad much. 1,000? We can now add force. Come on, go the other way. Go the other way. We are now adding force to the ball and making it move around the map by adding little bits of force. There we go. So you just got to work on tuning your force. Now, if we turn this back to run on server. Okay. Oop, and I fell off. But now, if we go over, and we are going to set some options here. We are going to set 2 players now. And we are going to play. So here is the server. And we don't want to do that. Okay. There is a reason why that happened. Very good reason. We do not have a custom game mode so that we can set which actors to set up. Okay. So we are going to move this pre-built, not the platform, although we should probably make that bigger. So we got a bigger platform now. But we want the player start point. We're going to move that over here. Okay. We are going to get rid of our player from the world. And we are now going to go over to project settings. We want to do... Where is... Maps and modules? No. Description, movies, packaging, supported platforms. Animation. Where is what I am looking for? It's something about maps and whatever. I know the thing I'm looking for. It's just not coming to mind what it's called. Default modes. Game mode base. Selected game mode. This is what we are looking for right here. Okay. So, we need to make our own game mode so that we can modify this. So we are going to do a new blueprint class. We are going to do all classes and search for game mode. We are going to use the game mode base, which is new in 14.4. We are going to call this our core game, or whatever the hell you want to call it. We're now going to open our core game, and we are going to set our default controller. Not default controller. We want to set our default pawn to our player pawn. There we go. We're going to compile that, save that. And now go into editing, project settings. We then want the thing that was here, packaging. No. Maps and modes, that's what I wanted. Maps and modes, we are going to now select our core game mode. And our player default pawn is player. Okay, perfect. So now, if we start the game again, hey look, there's a player, and we'll Alt-Tab, And hey, look, there's a player. And this player can add force to a ball. And then this player can find that same bargain ball and add force the other way. Come on. Do not freaking prove me wrong. Yeah, we need to up the force on this. But look, we got multiplayer soccer where you shoot a ball until it moves. So yeah, adding force to a ball in multiplayer from the direction you are looking at. Woohoo! I wish I had bothered to put a jump in there, because that would have been a good point to jump. Okay. So yeah, there you go. That's it. We made a game. Or at least the mechanics for a game. Woo! You spin that way. And now, stop spinning that way, because I'm going to shoot you over here. There we go. But yeah, that's it. Let's take another quick look at our project. So, we set up our inputs in the project settings there. With those input events, we have set up our character movement. Then, when the character clicks when the player clicks a button, it gets the direction the camera is currently looking, because remember that look movement, the up and down pitch, is actually happening on the player's end, not on the server's end. So it gets that look direction, it sends it off to the server and says, hey, do some things on the server with this look direction, which is drawing a line to it and adding a force in that general direction. We then get all the components we hit by our custom ball channel, so that we aren't adding force to the other players around us or interacting with anything else in the world. It is only going to affect the ball because it's the only thing running on that custom channel. We are going to multiply our force by a fair amount, just to get the amount of movement we want from it. And the acceleration change was a big factor in getting it to move. If you keep that off, then this number here is going to have to be even more ridiculously high. Okay, and then we can always get rid of this print string that was just there for testing purposes. This is valid, isn't a bad idea, as it stops you from having a few errors pop up. The errors don't actually affect your testing phase here. I'm not sure how it will affect a published game, but yeah, it's not a bad thing to have, especially if you're seeing those errors pop up. So, there we go. On the ball, we've got a ball, and we made sure that it replicates on the server. We made sure that its physics are turned on, right there, simulate physics. And under collisions, we set the preset to custom and told it to work on our custom channel. So, that's it. In 40 minutes, which was also taking some time to look up how to do crap, we're able to set this all up. I'm just noticing that my logo is over a button we were pressing quite a bit. So when I was going to our project settings, so that is under the edit menu and then project settings. Okay, and then the two things we were messing with is maps and modes, which is again just here under my logo, and then input. So maps and modes is where we set up our custom game state, and we're able to then set our pawn, our player that we want to automatically spawn. And then we also went to input, and we set up our axes for our strafing and forward and back movement, and set up our clicking actions. Well, that's it. I hope that helps you, man. If you've got any more questions, please respond to this post on the Answer Hub. And there you go, Brylos. Hopefully this will get you up and going.